food prep guide, we have been doing our best to bring you lots of recipes and tips and ideas and strategies to save the most amount of money at the grocery store in these very expensive days that we are living in. So today we want to focus on 5 common store-bought desserts that you can make yourself at home using ingredients that you probably already have on hand, and you can save a lot of money by doing so, but you can also make them healthier. Now they're desserts, so they're pretty full of sugar and probably not something you would want to eat on a restricted diet, but at least they are real natural foods that we can pronounce, you know what I mean? So healthier in that regard. Let's get started.
By the way, if you would like help building your food storage, scroll down to the description box of this video and click this link for our free 1-year food storage plan. We calculated a year's supply of food for one person, then broke that data down into a week-by-week list of items to build your pantry on a budget. We'll send it straight to your inbox. If you're new here, we invite you to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss all of our upcoming food preservation, pantry storage, and gardening tutorials. Now back to the kitchen. This first recipe is a Butterstrudel coffee cake that is very similar to the old Sara Lee's version that is not available in our area anymore. It's a Christmas morning tradition at our house and one of our absolute favorite treats of the year. Before we kind of dig into this particular recipe, I do want to mention that this video is kind of a roundup of other videos that we have done in the past, and so each of these recipes that you're going to see has a dedicated video where we kind of walk slower through it, so you don't need to worry about writing things down super fast or missing out on something. There will be links in the description box below of everything you need to know to make all of the recipes that you will see in this video. But since it is almost Christmas time, I did want to kind of refresh this recipe in y'all's memory. I know we've had a lot more viewers since last year, and many of y'all may not have even seen this recipe on our channel, but it is an all-time favorite. If you have ever had the Butterstrudel Sara Lee coffee cakes, and if you love those, and maybe you're like me and you haven't been able to find them in your area, you need to make this recipe. It is absolutely delicious. It's made in kind of 3 different stages. What you see me doing here is getting the dough ready. It is a yeast dough, so you do need some yeast, but the dough is basically made out of cream cheese, milk, butter, sugar, egg, yeast, salt, and flour. I do use my stand mixer in this because this dough is very thick and a little hard to work with by hand. So I just do the paddle attachment, and then once it kind of gets all mixed together, I usually switch to the dough hook and kind of knead it for a few minutes until it's nice and soft. The second stage is going to be the streusel kind of filling. It's just a mixture of brown sugar, flour, cinnamon, and the original recipe called for nutmeg. I generally don't keep nutmeg in my kitchen. I just keep a all-purpose like pumpkin pie spice that has allspice, nutmeg, clove, cinnamon, and I think one other thing, but the flavors are just really delicious. So I use that instead, and just give that a good mix, and that's going to be the kind of, actually this is the streusel. I think I said, did I say streusel? I don't remember. So there's like a little ribbon of cinnamon sugar mixture that goes through it. Picture kind of like a cinnamon roll. And then there's this crumble, buttery streusel crumble on top, and it is so good. It's mixed with butter like you see here. So this is definitely the topping that is sprinkled on top of the cake. So I guess I make the filling next, yes. And both of those contain cinnamon, and I am not a huge fan of cinnamon. Many people in my family are not big fans of cinnamon. Kind of too much cinnamon, I guess I should say. We love cinnamon rolls, and we love this recipe. So if cinnamon is something that maybe is kind of too strong for you, just know that it goes really well in this recipe and is not super duper strong at all. But once you get all of your different layers kind of mixed together, it's just a matter of building the cake. And with this, we're going to kind of knead it out onto a floury surface, and we're basically going to just create like a rectangle. In general, you want to aim for a 12 by 14 rectangle, and then work the dough as you see on screen. Once you've shaped your cakes, you let them rise for 30 minutes and then bake for 30 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And this is what the finished product looks like. It is one of our all-time favorite Christmas treats. Okay, the next recipe is going to be cinnamon rolls. This is another holiday favorite around here, but of course we kind of eat it all throughout the year. But when it comes to cinnamon rolls, I sift my flour. I don't sift my flour for many things, but when I'm wanting as light and fluffy of a soft of a dough as possible, I do sift my flour. So that's what I start out with when I'm making these cinnamon rolls. And then of course we just add our cinnamony mixture, which is brown sugar and cinnamon and just your typical cinnamon streusel. We're going to then make our dough. And I have, this recipe calls for buttermilk. Some of the recipes also call for heavy whipping cream. So I don't do either of those two things because we don't buy or stock those things. So I do this little trick to my milk to make it taste a little bit more tangy like a buttermilk, and that is to add 1 tablespoon of distilled white vinegar to 1 cup of milk. And it just kind of gives it that buttermilk type tang to it, and it makes these cinnamon rolls it really takes them up a notch. I can always tell the difference when I forget to do the vinegar. You don't want to let that sit for 10 minutes, that vinegar and milk correction. You want to let it sit for 10 minutes before using it and putting it into your recipe. But once you have a very simple dough, I think this ingredients is, let's see, I have the recipe right here in front of me. I think it's like 5 or 6 ingredients. 7 ingredients. So this is a very, very easy, quick and easy cinnamon roll dough, not fussy at all. But I mean, y'all know how to make cinnamon rolls. So the next step is just to put them up into a rectangle, get them nice and smooth, and then put on your cinnamon mix and get rolling on the dough. When I'm making cinnamon rolls, I like to melt butter in my cast iron skillet. You can kind of see a little bit of that here, and my cast iron skillet to be already really hot. So I put butter in the skillet, then put the skillet in the oven, and I've already got the oven preheated to 450 degrees Fahrenheit. You can see as I put the cinnamon rolls, you can see them bubbling a little bit. To me, it just gives a really nice golden-y kind of slight crisp on the bottom of those cinnamon rolls. And they just taste even better. So that's what I do. But you certainly don't have to do that. But this, I would just do put this whole skillet into the oven and bake at 450 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 minutes. And while that's baking, I get my topping, my powdered sugar blend icing going. And that is just powdered sugar and vanilla and a teeny tiny bit of splash of milk. I did a little bit too watery in this video, but I just mix up my powdered sugar and vanilla and then splash in milk in very small quantities and mix until I form a paste. You saw me, that what you saw on screen just now was way too much milk, but paste gets a nice thick icing. Here's what they look like straight out of the oven. Really delicious treat. Okay, next recipe is going to be our homemade chocolate syrup. This is your typical copycat Hershey's chocolate syrup that you would put on ice cream, sundaes, milkshakes, anything like that. The ingredients are simply a cup of sugar, a cup of water, 3/4 cup of cocoa powder, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. You want to leave the salt and vanilla out for now and just do your sugar, water, and cocoa in your pot for now and bring that up to a boil. It's not going to be a full rolling boil. You're going to want to look for the whole surface to be slightly forming little bubbles. If you have ever made syrup when you're canning, it's very similar to that look. Even if you've ever made jam and you're hitting that right temperature, that's the kind of surface area look that we're going for. This is what it looks like. Just slightly bubbling on top, and at that point you can turn the heat on low or even turn it off and add your vanilla and salt, and then take it off the heat and allow it to cool completely before using. I like to store this in a mason jar in my fridge, and we generally use it within 2 weeks. And here's what it looks like. Okay, next recipe is going to be some homemade fruit roll-ups. You can use any kind of fruit for this recipe, and all you need to do is puree it with some kind of sweetener. We really love doing blueberries with honey, but you can certainly use sugar, you can use agave, you can use coconut sugar, monk fruit even. Just getting some kind of fruit and pureeing it with a sweetener, that's all you need, and then put them in your dehydrator trays. You will need liners like you see here. And put it in the dehydrator overnight at around 125 degrees Fahrenheit. It does stay pliable and a little bit sticky, but that's just what fruit leather does. It's not bad or underdone. It's okay for it to be a little pliable and a little bit sticky. Next and last recipe is going to be all of our cookie mixes, and we have a video that we did very recently where we brought you 3 cookie mixes, and all of those contain the recipes in those, and so I will link that below. But this one is our brownie batter cookies, and we like to prep up cookie mixes in jars for really quick cookies without having to plan ahead for them. Especially around the Christmas season. I have not done my brownie batter cookies in jars before. I've done my sea salt chocolate chip cookies and my oatmeal cranberry cookies. But this year I decided to go ahead and try it, and it worked out fantastic. And just in case you don't know, if you have a favorite brownie recipe, you can turn it into a cookie recipe by adding more flour. It's going to be between a half cup and a cup of flour, just depending on how thin your brownie batter is. I ended up adding about a cup of flour to this recipe, even though my brownie batter recipe calls for half a cup of flour. But you just want all your dry ingredients to go into jars, and then to make, you'll need 10 tablespoons of butter softened, a teaspoon of vanilla, and 2 cold eggs. Bake for 12 to 14 minutes, and that's the general rule of thumb for all of the cookie mixes that we have here on the website. I hope that was helpful to y'all, and I hope you have a very Merry Christmas if you don't hear from me before then. See y'all next time. Bye!